This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Welcome to the WWE Podcast Week in Review. It's probably be a bit of an abbreviated version. It is Christmas Eve as I record this Sunday, December 24th, 2023. I will be releasing a review show of just some of the top moments. I think it was about a 35-minute show or so for the upcoming Raw that WWE is doing their own review show for. So instead of reviewing the review show, I'm just going to give you guys some of the top moments that I thought 2023 had, and that'll be coming to you on the normal Raw review day of Tuesday. Now, tomorrow of Monday, typically I would talk with Anthony DeMarco, but given it's Christmas Day, I obviously will not be, and maybe I'll pull something out of the vault and just kind of replay it for you, something interesting, something relevant, something you haven't heard in quite a while. So that'll be coming to you tomorrow, and then Tuesday is the actual review of 2023, and then Wednesday will be back live with the mailbag, and then later in the week I'll be doing a 2024 kind of preview show for you as I asked my patrons what they thought 2024 could consist of, and I got some great responses. So one more thing before we get going here on the Weekend Review is that if you want to hear the After Dark show, the non-PG version of the show, it's available to you now as a subscriber on Apple Podcasts, in addition to, of course, Patreon. Okay, so Patreon has it. If you go up on NXT Plus and above, you'll get that show, and it is now available on the Apple Podcast feed if you are a subscriber. So go ad-free and get everything ad-free, but also the exclusive After Dark show that we release every single week. All right, so WWE obviously taped their SmackDown for this past week, and you could tell by the crowd reaction it wasn't exactly through the roof, but it's the holidays, and I'm not slighting anybody for it. It wasn't anything earth-shattering that happened this week on SmackDown, and obviously Raw is a kind of a throwaway show. Is it just a review of 2023? So things will be back in full swing in about a week with the day one version of Raw. I mean, that is going to be a stacked Raw, and now SmackDown has a counterpart of New Year's Revolution. Throwback to the old event that WWE has resurrected, except it's just branded under a SmackDown show instead of a PLE. But I'm enjoying the fact that they're doing kind of these hybrid PLEs that are going to be coming our way as a stopgap between now and Rumble. And I think it's a smart move, smart marketing move, and it sets the tone for the new year. Because make no mistake about it, 2024 is going to be a massive year in WWE, and including, returns. Hopefully Big E can somehow make his way back. As much as I don't like his gyrating and hip thrusting and all that, I did enjoy his singles run that didn't include the New Day. Anytime he wasn't involved in the New Day, I think he was much more enjoyable. So perhaps he can find his way back. Apparently the doctors are still back and forth about it and still advising him not to. Thinking about MJF possibly in WWE in 2024 is fun. But also, I'm only talking about this because it has been brought to my attention that The Rock has been hinting about returning to wrestling. And that, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not saying no, but I've been burned so many times in the past that, especially this time of year, I'm not going to seriously consider it until I see it in front of my eyes. And I think the Royal Rumble is a hell of a place to do it. Hell of a place to do it, as Philadelphia is a big market. It's one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. A lot of people consider it their favorite, even over WrestleMania. And we have a built-in storyline ready to go. So again, we all know what that is. As fans, we've been talking about it and thinking about the match for so long. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, and we'll talk about that when and if it happens. But let's talk about this week in WWE, as we'll go through SmackDown a little bit more in detail. You can get the full SmackDown review done by Michael Ritter. Did an excellent job as always. You can check that out. And also check out his podcast, guys. I know he'd really love to get some of the listeners here over to his podcast that he does. It's called Football Function. Very, very good podcast on football if you want to be able to listen to him, not just talk about wrestling, but talk about football in one of the hottest times of the year for the NFL, which is about to commence in playoff season. So we're getting closer and closer, and I think that that's a great podcast to go check out. So go support Michael Ritter. It's called Football Function. All right. So on SmackDown, we got AJ coming out, and he said that he'll be facing Solo Sikoa later that night, or rather that Randy Orton wants Roman in at the Royal Rumble, and LA Knight wants him anywhere, anytime. Styles said he didn't blame either of them, but also didn't give a damn about them either. He then said he wants Roman and Reigns at the Royal Rumble. LA Knight came out and he told Styles that he can have Roman Reigns after he gets him first. But considering what happened last week, the first man on his list might be AJ Styles. Styles responded that Knight stepped over his body to tag with Cena to get a shot at Roman at Crown Jewel. And Knight got in the ring and was interrupted by Randy, and he got a chance to speak. And Orton told Styles and Knight that he appreciates their desire to take down Roman, but he was out for 18 months and he missed his second home. He wants Roman Reigns first, and they can have the scraps. Knight argued that since the bloodline had taken out both Styles and Orton, but failed to take him out, they should fall in line behind him. So Nick Aldis then came out and said they all have a legitimate claim. He would give them the legitimate shot when they have a triple threat match at New Year's Revolution. That's in 2 weeks. And Styles said that's fine and told Orton and Knight that he would take them out too if they interfered in this match with Solo later in the show. And the announce team plugged the U.S. Championship semifinals and the Dragon Lee versus Butch for the NXT North American Championship. So a nice open to the show. It just seems still a little weird with AJ. I know he's wearing black, which is a very symbolic change to heel. I mean, you see that everywhere in all forms of entertainment. I mean, how many times you see the villain wearing black? But at the same time, I don't know if this is a full heel turn for AJ. I don't know what this was. I mean, I know that he believes that he should have Roman Reigns first, but wouldn't he have attacked Randy Orton instead of Knight? Did I miss the true explanation, the very clear explanation as to why we got an AJ Styles attack on Knight? You know, if you want somebody, why are you attacking the guy that has nothing to do with you? I mean, like, you know, if I wanted to fight wrestler A, but I attack wrestler B because I feel like I should get wrestler A instead of just going after wrestler A, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I'm not crapping on this because these are three men that haven't met in a triple threat ever before. And AJ and Randy have worked together before, but the addition of LA Knight is very interesting. And I think he adds a lot of intrigue to this match that's coming up in 2 weeks. Now, it's a match for the number one contendership. So there's so much speculation online, and I've tweeted about this too, or X'd about it now. I don't even know what you call it. Posted about it on X. What is this match? What is the purpose of this match? Is it to get to just Randy Orton versus Roman, and this is a formality and a great way to have a really hot main event for the New Year's Revolution SmackDown? Or is this a setup for a fatal four-way with Roman Reigns at the Rumble? I tend to believe it's one-on-one. I tend to believe it's Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, and AJ is not going to be involved, and LA Knight's not going to be involved, because I think they are better suited for the Royal Rumble. You know, especially LA Knight. LA Knight has been a fan favorite to win the Rumble for a long time. I know Cody Rhodes is at this point probably a higher favorite with good reason, but you know, LA Knight shouldn't be taken lightly, and I think him in the Royal Rumble would be a lot of fun as the fans cheer for him as eliminations go by, and then they start to believe, and oh my God, it could be LA Knight who wins the Rumble. So I think that's probably more likely than a fatal four-way. At the same time, it's also not impossible to believe both could happen. We've seen that before, where competitors in singles matches or multi-person matches have competed also in the Rumble in the same night. But more often than not, it doesn't happen. So I still believe that it's going to be Randy Orton who wins that match, and it's going to be a one-on-one match with Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble, and really as it should be. This is a program that we've been waiting for 18 months. It's something that we look at and say, yeah, I think the waters would be a little muddied if it were 4 men in there, or if it was anyone else that wins that match. LA Knight has had his chance, at least for the time being. I'm not against, by all means, not against him against Roman Reigns and actually beating Roman Reigns, and I think he would be a good candidate. AJ Styles also has a legitimate claim being beat down by the bloodline, but Randy Orton is on another level when it comes to star power, and one-on-one, Randy Orton and Roman makes more sense to me. Throw AJ and Knight into the Rumble. They're solid stars to enter into to put into the Royal Rumble, to help clear the ring when things start getting clogged up, right? They always do that where they'll put in like 8 spots where it's kind of ho-hum stars, and then all of a sudden someone big comes out and clears the ring. Those guys are the perfect candidates for those, particularly Knight. So they're better suited for the Rumble if it is a other one or the other deal, and it's not they can do both. I think it's going to be one or the other, and it's going to be Knight in the Rumble, and same with AJ. So I expect at the end of this match for AJ Styles to be taking the RKO and Randy Orton pinning him with LA Knight not involved in the decision. All right. Then we got Nick Aldis, not Nick Aldis. We got Damage Control taking on Bianca Belair, Zelina Vega, Michin, and Shotzi in a holiday street fight. And this was, okay. I appreciate kind of the reimagining of Damage Control, where all of a sudden everything's smoothed over with Bayley. I think that's a red herring. I don't think that's true. I think things are about to disintegrate because they want us to not believe they're on the trail of Bayley being completely ousted from the group, but it's about to happen. And I think it's going to happen at the Rumble, personally. Now, this match was fine from an effort standpoint. It lasted 12, almost 13 minutes. The finish was, let me read it to you. Kyrie wrapping a trash can lid and smashing Shotzi with it. Zelina Vega took out Kyrie, and then Asuka smashed a pumpkin pie. That's right. That's right. A pumpkin pie into Vega's face and sprayed her with mist. And then in the ring, Bayley remained in control of Bianca. Asuka and Kyrie joined in and unwrapped a gift at ringside, which turned out to be Isla Dawn and Alba Fire in boxes. And they popped out of their gift box and took out Kyrie and Asuka. And back in the ring, Bianca landed the KOD on Bayley. Io managed to land a moonsault on Bianca, but Michin broke up the pinfall. Michin entered and landed Eat Defeat on Io, and then put her through the table with a top rope senton for the win. So they could continue to put this on Bayley since she was involved in the match. That helps further that story. You also get a re-debut of the tag team of Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Hopefully they have, with their time away, spent it, I guess, breaking the hex or breaking the curse of the women's tag team championships. I would hope that that's why they're back, is, mission accomplished. We'll see. And yes, we got a pumpkin pie in Vega's face. This is, what do you guys know what I think about this stuff? Oh, it's just for fun. It's holiday. Yeah, but you can't tell me that these athletes that are here being paid millions of dollars we're told are here to win championships and, or they're on international television, are here to throw pies in each other's faces. That's anyway. I'm not going to go any further. This just feels very Vince McMahon. Somewhere Vince McMahon is smiling. Somewhere Vince McMahon is knee slapping about this. Somehow at his geriatric age is still finding this kind of stuff funny. Somewhere, somehow Vince saw this and was very proud that creative decided to include the pumpkin pie because he loved that kind of crap. I do not. the 4th of July food fights, anytime there's a gravy bowl match or any kind of holiday themed nonsense, it's just not my thing. I understand the want, and hey, if you love it, cool. I can't stand that stuff. However, effort was there by all women. And now Kairi and Asuka have opponents of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. So that's a good thing that they're actually creating a division of tag teams for women instead of having the championship before there's tag teams. They're kind of doing this whole thing backwards. I don't know how you have a championship for a division that doesn't exist, but that's what they've done, which is why anybody that became champion ran essentially unopposed. I mean, so, but it's nice to see, and I'm glad to see Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. We'll see what becomes of them. All right. We then got, let's see, Dragon Lee versus Butch for the NXT North American Championship. Just under 10 minutes here. The finish was Butch recovering and landing an elbow strike. Both men ended up on the ropes in the corner, and Lee landed a double stomp. But Butch was able to twist up his fingers, and Lee attempted a running attack, but Butch pushed him into the air, and he pancaked to the mat. Butch set up for the bitter end, but Lee reversed into a destroyer. He then followed up with Operation Dragon and got the victory. Really nice match here. Dragon Lee has been nothing short just of a success here so far in WWE. Butch on his own is still trying to find his way here, but Dragon Lee winning was the right call. Dragon Lee, right now he's in the shadow of Rey Mysterio, and to be honest, every luchador that comes through the doors of WWE that is not named Rey Mysterio will forever live in the shadow of Rey Mysterio. They will forever be compared to Rey Mysterio. It's just the way it's going to be, for better or worse. But Dragon Lee's holding his own, and I love the Destroyer. The matchup was very smooth. I would have loved to even have them go another 5-6 minutes, but this to me was really fun and quality wrestling for 10 minutes. All right, let's see. We got really one of the more talked about segments here that didn't even happen in the ring. And this is where Nick Aldis confronted Roman Reigns in his own locker room. Well, we got really Roman calling for Nick Aldis to come to his office, quote unquote. And this was really fun. This is where Triple H shined in a way, and I'll tell you why. So Heyman introduced Nick Aldis, and Roman asked how he wasn't sure, or he was sure he wasn't talking to him after he dismissed Heyman, and Aldis said he didn't really care if he was talking to him about leaving. And he reiterated his role as tribal chief and head of the table, and said that it would have been better if he ran through his ideas about the Triple Threat and Royal Rumble with him before it happened. And Aldis responded that Pierce, because Roman added that Pierce seemed to understand this arrangement better, but Aldis said that Pierce is more of the middle management type, and he's the general manager. He also called himself the sharp end of the stick, and the buck stops with him. Aldis continued and said that Solo's a big boy and took care of John Cena in a way that Roman never did, and that he was looking forward to the Triple Threat match, determining his challenger for the Rumble. He looked forward to more productive dialogue in the future and getting to know each other better. This is really good. These two, I'll tell you, if Nick Aldis wants to have a program with Roman, it's right there. But that's actually not why I liked it. While that match, I guess, in theory could happen, I liked it because this is exactly how a general manager should act. Unintimidated by talent. They are the authority. They make the matches. No BS. It's exactly what we want to see. At the same time, while they're very good in their segments and leaves you wanting more, the show doesn't revolve around them. The show is still about the talent. The show is still focused on what the talent are doing, who they're fighting, what's on the line. And Nick Aldis is there to just facilitate that in a way that doesn't allow the talent to bully him. or strong arm him or threaten him or blackmail him. And that's exactly what you need from management. And it has been sorely lacking in the general manager department from WWE really over several decades. This is a great mold. Now, not everybody needs to be a duplicate of Nick Aldis, but kind of some of the traits that he showed us on SmackDown should be studied, because they are ones that I think create respect for the general manager position. Fans don't resent it so much because it's believable. And the statement even that Aldis said that he doesn't have feelings because he's an executive is really rings true with a lot of people. I mean, think about your own company or organization you work for. You know, you hear about people who believe, and even maybe you do yourself, that those in executive management are just soulless. They have no feeling. They're not human, right? So he kind of hit on that belief among a lot of workers, today. So this is just great stuff. All right, Carmelo Hayes versus Kevin Owens in a U.S. title match. A semi-final match for the United States Championship. And this was good. I know a lot of people didn't feel the ending was appropriate, but Kevin Owens beating Carmelo Hayes in 10 minutes still was the right call. The finish was Owens hitting a pop-up powerbomb, got a close near fall, and then followed it up with a top rope swanton and a stunner for the win. So he hit all of his signature and finishers here to take down Carmelo Hayes, and nothing taken away from Carmelo here. Now, many believe, why not help younger talent? Well, you can't have younger talent just outright beat one of your top baby faces right now. It's not the right time for Kevin to lose, nor is it time for Carmelo Hayes to just start beating, the fan favorites. Doesn't make sense yet, but I think that he really showed some of his ability here tonight, or last night when it was aired, rather, 2 nights ago. Geez, it's Sunday. And I think that that's a positive. That's the win and a loss here. Really nice match. And after the match, the announcers went over Kevin Owens advancing to the finals, and they shook hands and all as well. So quality, just a quality match. We then got Karrion Kross, and this is where the return of AOP was teased. I liked it. For so long, I think that those looked at Karrion Kross as a joke because of the way that Vince McMahon kind of wrecked him with the mask. Remember that whole debacle a couple years ago? They brought him back. He felt like he belonged, and then he was kind of in and out of WWE television. And he had Scarlett, and she was a bit of a, she was an asset to him. But it felt like something was missing. And I think maybe that puzzle piece has been found. Him leading a faction. If you remember AOP, I believe they got injured when they were with Seth Rollins several years ago, and that's when Seth really turned back to being a heel. He was the one revealed in the back of the van. Remember that whole storyline? I really love that storyline. I don't think it got the attention it deserved, and it unfortunately was, if I'm not mistaken, it was cut short due to AOP's injuries. I loved it. And now with AOP back as the heavies for another heel in Karrion Kross, I'm all for it, because Karrion Kross has felt like he's missing a piece, and I think, again, AOP could be that puzzle piece. Now, the only drawback to this is nothing wrong with Karrion Kross. I don't think there's anything wrong with AOP themselves. Do we not have enough heel factions in WWE? It feels like we're just pumping them out at this point, on top of female factions that are now heels. Are there any babyface factions? I'm talking 3 or more. Okay, you got the New Day. Did they really count? I mean, you got the LWO. It's just, I feel like there's just another heel faction. But if it helps get over Karrion Kross, then I guess the net victory will be what matters, right? In the end, was the Was the end justifying the means? We'll find out. All right. We then got Santos Escobar and Bobby Lashley in a U.S. title tournament semi-final match. This match went 8 minutes and 44 seconds. The finish was Lashley landing a facebuster and a spinebuster, and the two men in lucha masks attacked the Street Profits on the outside. And with the distraction, Escobar landed a chop block and rolled up Lashley and got the victory with a handful of tights. So Santos Escobar beats Bobby Lashley in 8 minutes and 44 seconds. We'll get to the reveal in a minute. I just want to say, first of all, Santos winning is the absolute right call. The absolute right call. I mean, there's just no way you could stop Santos right now with all the momentum he's got from his heel turn. But the other thing is, when you look at this matchup, is that Lashley not only doesn't really need the U.S. title right now, but I don't know what Lashley is. Lashley was a heel because he was, with the Street Profits. They kind of turned heel, convincing him to go to the dark side and do whatever it takes to win a match. But now Lashley's kind of back to being a babyface because he's facing Santos Escobar. I don't know what Lashley and his group are. I don't know. I guess this week they were heel or babyface. But I guess it's going to depend week to week. They're kind of the tweeners. That's a dangerous place to be in. So, I don't know. I like for the Street Profits and Lashley, who have yet to come up with a name for the group, to my understanding. But beyond that, I think that, I don't know what they are. I just don't know. But, okay, after the match, the men revealed themselves to be Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. So, they're back, baby. And another heel faction is formed. I liked it. I loved it. I really did. And maybe they're formed and they're going to face off against Lashley and the Street Profits. I would imagine that's probably on deck at some point. So, good stuff here. Good to see Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. It just is. That fits them perfectly. And I believe Santos has already named his group the LWO, which is Legado World Order. So that's pretty cool, if that sticks. All right, we got a backstage promo from Logan Paul, who said both Escobar and Owens are battling over who will get pinned by the most relevant U.S. champion of all time. Owens will face Escobar at New Year's Revolution. He made some insults to Kevin Owens, as we all know. All right, so fine. Logan Paul seems to be fitting things, fitting into this role well. I have no issue with Logan Paul right now. I really don't. I understand he's not really here, but that's kind of par for the course over there on SmackDown, where your heel champions just don't show up. All right. So we got AJ Styles and Solo Sikoa here in the main event. And this ended with a DQ. So Styles ends up winning, but it's because of DQ. And it was Roman Reigns interfering and then Jimmy interfering, and as you'd imagine, you get Randy Orton coming out, and then the big White Knight of LA Knight coming out, pun intended, I guess, and helping all the baby faces. But then the baby faces break down after the bloodline was kicked from the ring by the baby faces. Then AJ and Randy and then Knight are all fighting amongst each other. So kind of a mess here. By the way, this match was 12 minutes and 48 seconds. And, the crowd did what they could. They had just been through two shows here. The crowd did what they could to stick with it. It's only one time a year that they do this double taping of SmackDown. So, I get it. I understand. I think they might do it also with Saudi Arabia. Anytime they're, going overseas. It's a rare occurrence. And, sitting through one show can sometimes be a chore, much less two. So I give the crowd, credit for doing what they could. But things, again, will be back and fresh and better than ever starting at New Year's, the day one edition of Monday Night Raw. Now, speaking of Monday Night Raw, I'm going to go through very quickly as a reminder of what happened on Monday Night Raw, just the matches. And we got R-Truth and JD McDonough. R-Truth beats McDonough in roughly 10 minutes in a loser leaves the Judgment Day match. We got, Kofi Claus. That was, you guys know what I think about Kofi Claus. All right. Apparently they think they're placating to the 5 to 10-year-old demographic at that point. I'm not sure. We got Gunther and Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. That was easily the match of the night. 21 minutes. Gunther beats The Miz, but barely. And The Miz here has now ascended even further into a successful babyface run. This may end up being his most successful babyface run in his entire career. And he's been with WWE for nearly 20 years. I believe he came in 2004 as Mr. Hoorah, host of SmackDown. I remember seeing him thinking, God, get him off my TV. And I thought about that a lot. I thought the same thing really throughout a lot of his career, especially when he was with Morrison. They were being, 14-year-old boys in high school with pranks and nonsense, and The Miz being embarrassed time after time by every celebrity that comes in, and you can't take him seriously. There's a million Miz TVs every single time you turn around. There's a Miz TV. Miz loses every match, and that's all true. But right now, the people aren't focused on that. They're focused on, hey, Miz cuts good promos. And when he's not trying to be annoying, he's actually somewhat likable, and he can put on a really good match. And that's what he's done here. And I think the fans are behind him more than they have ever been before. So I'm not hating on it. I don't like The Miz. I haven't liked his character generally, but my opinions can change too. I think that he's doing an excellent job. The execution has been next level, and they've done it in a way that I don't think even though they were sure it would be at this point where everything has to break right for The Miz to really have the fans buy into this character because he's been a bad guy for so long. All right, we got, where am I at here? Chelsea Green and Piper Niven versus Caden Carter and Katana Chance for the women's tag team titles. As we all know, Caden Carter and Katana Chance won, and we have new women's tag team champions. We also have Samantha Irvin, who's no longer allowed to say Chelsea Green. She's, I guess, supposed to say just Chelsea Green, and that came from upper management. I don't know the reason for it, but as fans, we need to do our duty and bring back and sign a protest. Can we sign a petition? A petition rather, and bring back the Samantha Irvin pronunciation of Chelsea Green's name during her ring entrance. Can we start that? Can somebody start that? All right. We got then Ivar versus Akira Tozawa in 4 minutes, where Ivar beat Akira Tozawa in 4 minutes. We got Drew McIntyre interrupting Seth Rollins, as you remember, and bringing it back to being real with his family and questioning whether he should do this anymore. And then eventually it ends with Rollins saying he pities McIntyre. Jey Uso versus Ludwig Kaiser was 10 minutes and 20 seconds, with Jey Uso beating Ludwig Kaiser in 10 minutes. And as I said, we got Damian Priest versus Julius Creed and Brutus Creed for the Undisputed Tag Team titles. This match lasted 16 minutes, and the Judgment Day's Damian Priest and Finn Balor were able to retain here. And that, I think, was the right move, because I don't think the Creed brothers are ready yet either. They barely have a personality. The fans are just getting to understand them. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. And I think that the Judgment Day is just too much fun to not have them as champions right now too. So overall, a solid episode of Raw, especially considering that this time of year is typically the real down season for Monday Night Raw, where things are just very ho-hum. And they will be over the next week until we get to that day one event. That's going to take place, of course, on January 1st, where we have a stacked card, championship matches, looming returns, full steam ahead to the Royal Rumble. Things are going to get crazy starting January 1st, and then rolling into the New Year's Revolution edition of SmackDown. That's going to be even more fun. And, of course, the Royal Rumble event itself, which I believe is Saturday the 27th of January. So, guys, it's about to get real fun right after the holidays. So I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday here, Christmas. And don't forget, we'll be here for you. If you're sitting there and you've opened your presents and you just need something to zone out to, well, I'm your guy. I don't know what that says about my show that I'm asking you to just zone out to it. but nonetheless, I would appreciate if you guys do. If you want to make us a part of your holiday weekend here, cool. If not, then that's fine too. Obviously, priorities, family and presents, and just and trying to relax, right? Try to relax after all the shopping and all the stress and all the things that go with being a parent on a holiday, or even if you're not a parent. Shopping for people can be stressful, and just sometimes we bite off more than we can chew and spend more than we should. So hopefully you guys get everything you want from Santa, right? If you celebrate such things. All right. But that'll do it for me here on the WWE podcast. Consider going ad-free on Patreon or on Apple Podcasts. Again, you get that ad-free show, the exclusive show on Apple now, and WWEpodcast.com is a great way to follow us and go ad-free there if you go VIP. So, alrighty, guys, this is a little bit shorter than normal, but, hey, Christmas is right now. So I got to hit the hay, and I will talk to you guys later in the week. So take care, and Merry Christmas.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.